Hari Om, good evening, a very warm welcome to all of you. Please come, let's take the blessings of the Divine Almighty. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amritam gamaya sahana vavatu sahanau bhunaktu sahaviryam karavavahai tejasvina vadhitamastu ma vedveshavahai Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. O Lord, the Supreme Almighty, who also has the divine name Vishramaha, to such a omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent Almighty, together with Shraddha, Bhakti, Prapatti, we offer our humble salutations. O Lord, we seek your grace, your mercy, your love, your compassion, your benevolence, your forgiveness, your strength, your determination. Bless us with the divine qualities like Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Vairagya, Prapatti, Mumukshutva, in much more enhanced quantity, only and only to understand thy true nature. Have the first-hand experience of thyself right within us. We are all yearning for this aparoksha anubhuti. Bless us with these divine qualities. We beseech in you that at the end of our lives, we reach thy holy feet. Our salutations to the Guru Parampara. Om Sat. Today, by the grace of the Almighty and with the blessings of the Guru Parampara, we are on our Divine Discourse number 387. On this auspicious day of 30th July 2024. Swasti Shri Krodhinama Samvatsara Dakshinayana Grishma Rutu Ashadha Masa Krishna Paksha Bhaumavasare Dashmyatitau Kritika Nakshatra Vriddhi Yoge Bhadrakarane. On this Tuesday and the auspicious time of the evening, together we make a firm resolve. We take an oath. Naham karta hari karta hari preranaya hari prityartam. O Lord, I understand your grace and benevolence towards me. I know that every situation you have created for me in my life is only and only to give me the right amount of Vairagya, Jnana, in different proportions and uplift this life. Thereby, I take every situation, every circumstance, every incident, every happening, be it by a person, place, or an object, that it is nothing but your grace and prasad moving towards me. I will not show a bit of reluctance, hesitation, nor even a pinch of sorrow when anything strikes at me. I will accept with a smile, face it with honor, and finally offer all that comes to me at your lotus feet. Bless me with the right courage and understanding at all times. Our salutations to the Guru Parampara once again. Om Tat Sat. Hari Om. Good evening to all of you. A very warm welcome. So, we have been sending you, say about half an hour to an hour before this session, we send you what is that we are going to learn today. So I hope many of you are seeing this, but those who have not seen, I would just like to read this once so that you get a complete idea of what's there for us in store in this session today, and you will be able to frame your mind accordingly. So now, as we know, Vairagya plays a key role on the path of spirituality. How many categories of Vairagya are there and what are their stages? See, this may not come exactly in the way, the session may not be on in this sequence, but these are the points which we'll be trying to cover till the end of the session. Now, second one would be, how should your eating habits be as a sadhak? So here, your eating as well as rest habits are told by Lord Krishna. Then we're taking up what is mindfulness. Nowadays, we have been listening to this word mindfulness very often. So let's understand the meaning and how it can aid our spiritual sadhana. We'll see that. And then now, what is the true meaning of yoga? It's actually yoga, not yoga. So what is the true meaning? The deeper meaning, not the meaning with where you carry a yoga mat and you do some asanas. Not that. The deeper meaning of yoga. And then I would like to mention to you all that we are all embarking on a massive spiritual journey by setting our feet into practicals. Now, so far it's all knowledge, 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 knowledge. Now we are going to practice that knowledge by handheld guided meditation from my side. So you will start experiencing whatever is told in the Gita. That should become your experience. Then only that knowledge has transformed you and your life. Otherwise it becomes just a bookish knowledge with not much relevance to you. So these practicals meaning using this knowledge attained to gain self-realization. So now this will be, however, explained with the help of neuroscience. I'm not just going to talk only from the point of view of Shastras. I'll take the help of neuroscience and scientists, what they have said, and that will naturally boost our confidence. Then I shall give a brief introduction on this subject, how these practicals are going to be. There is some very profound truths which you will understand today of how is this whole divine play structured. What are the jivas? What is Paramatma? Why only some jivas are on the spiritual path? Why others don't get a bit of a liking towards this? So all this aspect you will get to know, and that will actually boost your confidence. So now, brief introduction on this subject and prepare you all for an enthralling divine experience in the making. So we will not be practicing the meditation on the new formula, not today. Maybe in the next session I need to give some more introduction to this, prepare your mind, and then I'll take you through. Okay, so now we move forward to verse number 17 today. Okay, so before that, just a recap of the last two verses. So now here, what Lord Krishna says in verse 15, so in this way, always without a break, whenever you place your mind in meditation, he says, "O yogi, making the mind fully disciplined, absolutely peaceful, nirvana paraman," he says, that person, he attains moksha out of the samsara and he attains me. See, these are all verdicts given by the Supreme Lord. So what is he saying over here? Place your mind on me. Meaning in a state of awareness, which we are going to learn today. In that state of awareness, you just keep thinking of him. Don't we think of so many things in this world? We think of, say, you want to buy a house, you think of a house. You want to buy a car, you think of a car. You want to buy a nice jewelry set, you think of that. Whatever objects or persons you have in mind, you constantly, whatever you desire, don't we think about that? So here the Lord says, you think about me, that's it. So now how do we do that? So listen to his glories, listen to his stories, then sing his kirtans, bhajans, and that's how you're constantly connected with the divine force. And then in verse number 16, he then takes us forward and he says, in simple sense, don't overeat nor undereat also. Too much of fasting is not good, because what happens is when you overeat, then you will fall asleep. You will rather oversleep, you would say, because when you have overeaten, and you go to sleep, you will not get good sleep. You might feel that, okay, I have slept for 8 hours, but eventually what has happened is 2-3 hours is not to be taken into account. Along with you going to sleep, your stomach also needs sleep, but it doesn't get sleep. Reason is all the energy is going towards putting you to sleep. Now that doesn't work. So the first priority comes to digestion of the food, because the stomach wants to sleep. So first priority given to that. Food is digested till that time you feel that you have slept, but you are not getting adequate sleep. That's the reason one needs to have their light meal. I'm saying no heavy meal in the night, not much of carbs, a light meal at least 2.5 to 3 hours before you go to sleep. If you want to enhance the quality of your sleep, then you can take it much earlier also. So this way, don't overeat or undereat, which will cause you oversleep or it will keep you awake. Because if you don't eat, then constantly you're thinking about food, which will not put you on the track of meditation in the right manner. So this way, now he concludes verse number 16, and then he takes forward on now again on the food aspect and the recreation aspect in terms of rest basically. So what is that we will understand today. Come. Let's read verse number 17. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yuktahara Viharasya Yukta Chestasya Karmasu Yukta Swapnavabodhasya Yogo Bhavati Dukkha. Here he gives a Bhavati Dukkha in the sense Yuktahara Viharasya. So now, having told about how much to eat, what to eat, when to eat, what are the right foods which aid meditation, so he further compliments saying that do not take spicy food, oily food, food rich in onion and garlic. These are all a hindrance for meditation. See, now if it is for somebody who is doing hardcore labor work, for such people onion and garlic is good because they are considered to be great medicines. But when it comes to spiritual sadhana, one should avoid, because it creates agitation in the mind. The rajas activity, what is there in the mind, it promotes that rajas activity. But when you are unwell, then as a medicine you can take. So in this way he talks about the right kind of food. Now what is vihara over here? He says give adequate rest. See, many a times we don't understand. I have seen people who are, the top brass we call, could be a businessman, industrialist or executives. They are continuously on the move from one country to another country, catching all sorts of odd flights during odd timings. And then again, they go to different time zones. Now, this may look good actually in terms of trying to show that how busy I am. But eventually what? You are completely disrupting the mechanism of the body. You're not giving it the rest required. And we as sadhaks, now let's look at what we have to do. We do shravana, manana on a continuous basis. The mind needs rest. In fact, the Shastras say the pratipadya of every paksha. Pratipadya means the first day of paksha, means either Shukla paksha or Krishna paksha, which means 15 days once. As we have Ekadashi, which is number 11 in this Krishna and Shukla, Pratipadya is number 1. The first day should be a complete rest for the mind. As you give 1 day for the body, now the Shastras talk of 1 day for the rest, for the mind. So this way, one has to, meaning I'm just telling you the importance, but now we really can't do that in terms of going 1 day completely rest. So appropriately we have to structure our work process. In like there is one technique in the Japanese country where they call it as Pomodoro. Pomodoro is after every say 20 minutes or 30 minutes of your work, concentrated work, they say take a 5 minutes break and then again get back. What is this? This is, reason is you have to allow the brain to assimilate. Now in sadhana, what? You need the brain to the maximum, optimum delivery extent. You just cannot use it the way you want. So these are the techniques. He says you have to follow this. Eat appropriately and rest appropriately. So yuktahara viharasya, after that now it comes to karmasu yukta chetasam. So do all your chores. Karmasu meaning you have to do it appropriately. Like say in the earlier days, they used to go and draw water from the well. They used to go to the jungle, cut trees and bring firewood. They used to wash clothes and they used to do farming. So this was, apart from that Sandhya Vandan and whatever sadhanas they had to do, this was a routine way of life. But now look, there are so much of convenience now. You don't do farming, you don't have to go to the jungle to get firewood, you don't have to wash your clothes, you have a washing machine, you don't have to go to draw water from the well, you get water at in your taps. So where is physical exercise now? He says physical exercise is required for proper functioning of your body, for proper sleep. So this way he says, now if you are not doing physical exercise in your routine work or daily schedule, then make it a point to sweat out at some point of the day. And ideally it would be morning under the sun. So this way, this aspect of physical exercise is also spoken over here. That shrama, what you want. Yukta viharasya, yukta chestasya karmasu. So now it so happened once in a Gurukul, one person was doing sadhana. Now he wants to like cross everybody and go ahead. So all the time doing sadhana. And the Guru was passing by, he looks at that Shishya and he was surprised. He said, now this is a time where you bathe and you wash your clothes, you clean your room. And this fellow is what, doing sadhana now. He calls him, Arey, are you not washing your clothes today? So that Shishya says, Guruji, I've given it to my friend to wash the clothes. Okay, then the Guru says, okay, you ask him to have your portion of lunch today, you don't go for lunch. That was the importance given to what is taught to us over here. Yukta swapna bodhasya, meaning sleep adequately. The number of hours, don't try to bargain. This is a non-negotiable area. Sleep should never be bargained at any cost. Whatever shortfall is there, maybe in our grahastha life, it so happens that you are traveling or some guests are there, they come late, whatever. Now, if at all there is any kind of a shortfall, it is known as a sleep debt. Now you have to, if it is a debt, meaning you have to pay back, you have to take an additional amount of sleep the following day or the subsequent day. So one has to give that amount of sleep to the body. And if you are tired, let's say your You had gone for a movie and somebody sitting next to you was coughing and you got that infection. Okay, now you come back. Now your body has started fighting the infection. You're still not down with viral flu. When that body is fighting with infection, it needs more rest. So understand that I should not get up at the same time. My body is now working under pressure to fight the pathogens, which are the foreign bodies which have entered. So this way, one has to be careful about eating, resting, and physically exercising. So in this way now, Lord Krishna, he talks about the balance one has to find. But now, there is another angle to it. When he talks about all this meaning appropriately, there he tries to say a sadhak from our point of view. Now for a common person who is understanding the vachyartha, what we call vachyartha means what is spoken of. When you speak about adequate amount of sleep, adequate amount of food and rest, that is, you speak those words and you grab the meaning. But there is something known as lakshartha. We'll learn more about this as we progress. Lakshartha means what does it imply to you? I take the implied meaning, not the literal meaning. So for a sadhak, here Lord Krishna says, get on to the path of Vairagya. Vairagya is, in simple terms, giving up what you don't need. There is something in excess you have got. Maybe you're taking excess food. Cut on that. Maybe you're taking excess rest. Cut on that. Maybe you're not giving adequate physical exercise to your body. Improve on that. Get into some physical activity. So that balance, he talks about Vairagya. And here he, talking about Vairagya, he says now, this kind of a dispassion towards what is in excess, this is something which on the path of philosophy or spirituality, it is extremely a must. If you want to go higher and higher, these are all the heavy chains on your legs. They will not allow you to rise higher. You have to get control on your passions and desires and goals in life. Okay, now broadly they divide into two categories. Now this again, it shows us the path till the end, so we need to understand. Otherwise we just know one word, Vairagya, that's it. Now having understood the literal meaning, now we go to the implied meaning, the lakshartha. So apara Vairagya, you can say, which is a lower or initial dispassion. Initial, that we call as we call primary, secondary, higher secondary, that way. So the primary, apara Vairagya, lower. And there is something known as para Vairagya, which is higher or supreme dispassion. Now we will focus on the lower Vairagya and what are the stages in the lower Vairagya and how we could go higher and higher. See, not to forget, we are Grahasthas. In Grahastha, as a Grahastha, you have got so many things attached to you. If you are a sannyasi, you don't have to mind much because you don't have any belongings. So, apara Vairagya. What is the first one? Yatamana. Yatamana means effort. Now, this is an initial stage where a person makes an effort to control and reduce his desires and attachments. See, as a sadhak, you must have seen, when you start learning something new and you know that this is unnecessarily taking a lot of my time and effort, I need to reduce on this. So the mind is still engaged with the objects, but there is a conscious effort to pull away from the objects of attraction. So now this becomes yatamana, meaning an effort zone. Okay. Now this is the first stage. Then comes vyatireka. Vyatireka is a distinction. At this stage, an individual or a sadhak, he starts distinguishing what is necessary and what is unnecessary attachments towards me. Why am I unnecessarily getting bound? I need to become free. So the sadhak now looks at, he says, what is not essential, I need to get rid of them by gradually reducing them. And then what is essential, I still need to cater to it. Now, physical exercise is essential, as the Lord said. Sleep is essential. A right amount of food is also essential. Now he tries to balance. Sadhana is also essential. That is the top priority. But these are the other things which are there in his life. So now this sadhana, seva, which takes him to the higher level, he now balances all the other three. Essential, non-essential. So this becomes vyatireka. Now slowly he moves forward. Ekendriya is the third level. Control of senses. Here this sadhak, he gains significant control over the senses. Now, when I talk about senses, not that he has gained over the mind. Only at the senses level he has gained. Now the senses no longer chase after external object, but the mind still harbors with subtle desires. You are able to understand this? You see something very tasty which you have had in the past. Now, when it comes before you, you withdraw your senses. You say, no, I don't want. But your mind, it has caught the taste which you had several times in the past. Now it says, take, what is there? Take once. Maybe you don't take two, take at least one, or take a bite. So mind is still not under control. Now this person may sometimes heed to it, or he comes out of it, but constantly his mind is playing with the object which he had just now seen and refused. So the third stage is where he has controlled over the senses, but his mind is not stable. This is the subtle difference between the third and the fourth stage. Ekendriya is only senses have been controlled. Now the fourth stage comes. Vashikara, complete control. This is the advanced stage, where the mind, the senses are totally under control. Desires and whatever attachments come to you, they are subdued. And the individual now directs his mind as per his will. This is the fourth stage. So once we are in this kind of a stage in terms of Vairagya, then lot of disturbances within, they are resolved for us to move on the path of spirituality. So having understood these stages, now you should know where you are currently and move on to the next stage and to the next and establish yourself. Now these are the primary Vairagya. Now just let's have an idea of the para Vairagya. Para means, as we say, para Atma, para Vairagya, higher, supreme. Now this represents the highest form of dispassion, where this individual or this yogi, sadhak, he has got unwavering detachment from all worldly and spiritual desires. Even spiritual desires, he says no. No, meaning he has reached that stage where he does not ask for anything. He has already merged himself with the universal consciousness. So here they call as the supreme detachment, completely free from all attachments and material objects, and then He is established in self-realization already. And he looks in the sense of samatva bhava, equanimity. All this comes when you reach that stage. So this way, this sadhak, he moves forward on the path of spirituality. So now we go to the next verse, and I try to complete 19 also, so that we can get a gist of what the introduction is towards the practicals. Okay, we'll listen. We'll just read the 18th verse. Shri Bhagavan Yada viniyatam chittam atmanyevavatishtate nisprahas sarvakamebhyah yukto ityuchyate tada. So here the sadhak looks at now further advice coming from Lord Krishna. Here he says that I'll give you the direct translation. When such a controlled mind, it rests on the Atman, which is the awareness. It has come to a stage where it has crossed the longing or the urge of desires. We say, no, ichha nahi hai. Ichha nahi meaning earlier I was craving for it, but now, no, I'm not interested. So free from longing of that kind of a desire which he had. Once you get this kind of a feeling, then you know that you are in a position to be established in this yoga. So Lord Krishna, he says, if you have truly mastered by practicing this yoga, then you are eligible to attain that higher consciousness. So this yoga is not merely a physical or mental exercise, but it is a state of inner peace and self-restraint. Now let's analyze this a bit and see. One you need is a controlled mind to be in this state. Check whether your mind, now after having got the knowledge of how your mind and senses work, you get to see at what level your mind is. Then otherwise, bring the mind under control. You have to come to that Vasha, stage of Vasha means complete control. So the mind should be disciplined and controlled. Then comes the mind should be focused inward, resting on the self, Atma. Now this is what we are going to practice. All this what I am talking over here, we are going to put in practice by this meditation. And I am telling you, it is, if you practice it sincerely, it is a sure shot. Reason? It is proved by science also. So of course we have faith that it will happen, but now once it is proved by sense, then your faith also gets enhanced. And luckily we have found a very right method of doing this. So resting it on the self is the second trait one needs to have. 3 is, of course, you have to be free from desires. The person should ensure that there is no disturbance. How can you be in a state of no disturbance? When you have reached a stage of contentment and fulfillment. As they say, when do you get desires? When you are when you are unfulfilled. So the moment you harbor fulfillment in your heart, then all desires vanish away. So that state of contentment and inner fulfillment is the next quality. So this state of being where the mind is free from distraction and desires, and it always wants to rest solely in the self. Now this is all going to be your state. After a month or two, you will all experience this state, provided you practice. So now this defines a true yogi. That yoga practitioner, what we call, this is a true yogi. Now what is he? He is stabilized in yoga, or that yukta. It signifies such a person who has achieved oneness with the inner self. He is experiencing that calmness, that tranquility, irrespective of the external circumstances. Now let's say it's raining heavily outside, and you mean to say you get worried, you get drenched, you get messed up? No. Why? Because you're sitting inside your house. Whatever be the situation which is happening outside, as far as you are inside the house, how that havoc of rain cannot disturb you a bit. In the same way, when your mind is seated on the Atman, on that consciousness within, nothing outside will disturb you. So in this way, now this shloka, it is twofold, you can say. One is, it is an inspiration. Yes, you do this. I need to become this. And then it's also a benchmark for serious practitioners like us, because it talks about that profound state of inner harmony and mental discipline. So that's what we should all aim to achieve and move forward. Otherwise, we will not achieve anything much in life. We'll go on listening, but eventually how much of listening will help you? Now, you may listen to 1,000 hours of a person singing. Okay? 1,000 hours you have listened to a person. Will that make any difference in your voice? Will you be able to sing? You might know everything. You might know each and every raga. You might know each and every frequency. But will you be able to sing? Unless and until you open up your voice and start singing. You may see somebody exercising. Every morning, you can say, in the TV, I watch for 1 hour without fail. What? Somebody exercising. Will it add 1% of goodness to your health? No. You did not exercise. You're only seeing. You got the knowledge. You ask about any asana, you ask about the benefits of any exercise, you will be able to tell. But what is your state? Have you achieved anything? No. So that should not be our fate. We have to, what we have learnt, bring it into practice. And that's how we'll be able to move forward on the path of spirituality. So this is this practical thing. Now I'll tell you how this came up. In fact, I have not seen this kind of a practical in any of the coaching centers. Everywhere it is theory, but not on these lines. Now, how it happened was, one of our students in the Kannada sessions is somewhere in his mid-80s. Now, he was telling me, this ill health has caught so much on us. He has been practicing, by the way, spiritual practices for the last 40 years. And he said, I have been practicing, but I don't know what I have done in the last 40 years. Last 4 years, what I have been learning from you has really made an impact. That's his honest personal opinion. Now, he confessed, I am facing with so many problems in my health. Me and my wife both, we are fed up. I somehow want to get out of this suffering. Now, you will be able to see now one of the benefits of this spirituality is, it moves you out of the suffering. So I have been telling now and then, he says, if I can do this by spirituality, then please tell us a method how to do this. Okay, this was before we went for the Char Dham Yatra. Now, yeah, my aim and goal is always to see what my students would ask for. So this was in my mind. So when I was in Kedarnath, we had ample time to be with the Jyotirling. Literally, we were touching the Jyotirling and worshipping. Ample time we had. So that time, see, it's all God's play. I made a firm prayer, a humble prayer to the Lord. Show me a way how I can achieve this. Whatever we have learnt, that should come to us as a practical experience. Now again, this is a thought now coming in his mind and telling me this, and me appropriately getting this thought when I am there. Now I offered my prayers, and after I came back, after a few days, in the wee hours during the Brahma Muhurt, about 3:30, 4 o'clock, when I was meditating, then suddenly this information just came onto my mind. And it did not come at one go. Okay, now that's what we started. As we kept on moving ahead, day by day, I could see that when I have been practicing, because first I wanted to practice and see how it made a difference. Every day there was a change. So much of insights came in, and now it is like almost 3 weeks we have been practicing. It has come out perfectly well. So this is a direct prasad which has come from the Lord. It is not something just by the way. It's not that. It is with that divine intervention. So it has got that highest reverence, you can say. Now with that same faith and confidence, now we will have this in our heart and we'll move forward. Okay, so now we'll go to shloka 19 and we go to the introduction. Come. Now this is just basically a metaphor into the states what he has spoken about in these last few verses. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Yata Deepo Nivatasto Nengate Sopama Smrita Yogino Yata Chittasya Yunjato Yogamatmanaha. So this metaphor, it talks about like as a lamp in a windless place does not flicker. Now there is no wind, you have seen. Absolutely the lamp is stable. The flame is not flickering a bit, as though it is a still picture. So is the disciplined mind of a yogi practicing meditation on the self. This is a metaphor given to the previous verse. So now it sets up this, knowing that yes, why are those flickerings happening with the flame? Because there is wind around. Now if I want my mind also to be in that state, what is the wind over here? The wind is nothing but the desires and the pulls you have towards various aspects of the world. So that is where Vairagya is required. To bring it to a state of no wind, you need to have the walls of Vairagya. So this way, now he talks about this state of being calm and achieving that self-realization. So this ultimate goal of such a focused mind is nothing else than self-realization. Now, when you move towards this, all what you have learnt in this 3-4 years will start becoming your physical experience. One should not be, you should neither feel pain nor pleasure. You should neither be happy, no joy nor sorrow. Mana, apamana, honor, dishonor. We are thinking, how can it happen? Now, once you reach this, start doing this practice, you will laugh at yourself. And you said, my God, I didn't understand then. How is it I'm understanding now when this self-realization comes? So the practical implications here is you have to create a meditative environment, develop that mental discipline. So I want to make my mind just like that unflickering flame. So this one has to do by practice, regular meditation practice, mindfulness, and use all the techniques of control in terms of the thoughts and emotions. Okay, now I'll just share with you, like when we're talking about this practice, what is this mindfulness? So somebody put this word mindfulness in a very meaningful way. What they say is, mindfulness simply means maintaining present focused awareness. Now you're listening, that is a focused awareness. Maintaining that, that's all. When during all activities, right from the formal meditation, when you're sitting in a formal meditation, you are maintaining your awareness. Right from the formal meditation to even casual moments, you're talking to somebody. Be aware. That's it. So what happens is, he says, this kind of a cultivation allows recognizing the interconnection on a moment-to-moment level, which is happening through that conscientious observation. You are observing conscientiously. And how? Without any reaction or judgment. Somebody is saying something. Without any reaction or judgment, watch a moment moving to the next moment. Be firm, focused with awareness. So from where? From a formal meditation to casual and informal moments. Now, this is one of the clue and a technique which I am sharing, where you need to, anything you're doing, you're having your food, be focused. You're talking to somebody, be focused. You're listening to a song, be focused. You're having your bath, be focused. You're pressing your clothes, be focused. Any activity you're doing, look at that moment-to-moment level of conscientious observation. So this is one preliminary step to practice. Now, in fact, when we're doing this Sukshma Vyayam in the morning, 45 minutes till the groin, right from the brain till the groin, it takes about 45 minutes plus minus 2 minutes. That entire 45 minutes is almost with eyes closed and focusing on each and every aspect of exercise what we are doing. This not only enhances the value of our physical exercise and of course internal strengthening, but it is bringing that level of awareness to the next level. So this is about awareness. Now, what is yoga? As I said, not just carrying a yoga mat and going, I'm doing yoga. No. The Vachyartha is yoga. Lakshartha means, the implied meaning, know that there is consciousness in us and there is consciousness in every cell, every atom and every molecule of the universe. not just within you, in every cell, every atom. This also is for inert and sentient, living, non-living, in every cell, every atom, and every molecule of the universe. Now what? Conjoining. Conjoining means yog. Conjoining this micro consciousness with the macro consciousness is true yoga. Now again, these are all, I'm giving you the indications now where our journey is going to go towards. See, so beautifully it has come, these shlokas, now at least in the English discourses, this is coming after a month or so. But when I came back from the Chardham and we started the classes, I'm looking at what we are learning was the appropriate time, and the right thought came. Me going there and me praying, and then the right thought coming was in line with what we were studying. This was really, it gave a divine experience. How kind the Lord can be with us. Now, so this way, that awareness and yoga, now keeping this in mind and practicing, we need to move forward. So we now come on to the aparoksha anubhuti. Introduction to the practical exercises towards self-realization. We'll talk about this for about 15 minutes and then we'll move ahead. Okay. Now, what is aparoksha? Aparoksha anubhuti, which is called as self-realization. Now, somebody says, I realize my skin has tanned a bit. I realize, they use that word. I realize I have put on weight. I realize my mind is wavering a lot. Now, what is the meaning of realize over here? It simply means that you are experiencing what you are talking. Now, I'll take another way. You have three different aksha: pratyaksha, paroksha, and aparoksha. Now, understand this carefully. What is pratyaksha? If you divide this, prati aksha. Aksha means eyes. Eyes denotes one of the perception capacities by seeing. So seeing, touching, hearing, smelling, tasting, all these are the five senses. So when you say aksha means all the five senses are included in that. With my eyes. Pratyaksha, I have seen with my own eyes. That is first one. Second one is paroksha, para aksha. Para means somebody else, eyes. And the third one, what we say is aparoksha, is where you don't need to see by yourself, nor you don't need to listen to what somebody has said. It becomes your self-experience. I'll give a few examples. Now, let's say your daughter joined a culinary college. Now she eventually becomes a chef, and you listen from others that they got to know from somebody else that she is doing very well in her college. Whatever during the practicals she has been making is liked by the seniors over there. So how did that news come to you? This news came to you from somebody who has again not seen with their own eyes, but they have heard from somebody. Okay. So this is paroksha. Now that daughter, she comes on a documentary. With your own eyes, you see her preparing something and you see a lot of good comments coming along with the documentary there. She's live. And you see fantastic comments coming. Now this is pratyaksha. You are not listening to anybody else, but you are seeing with your own eyes what is happening in front of you. Pratyaksha. Now, you know through somebody initially that she is a great cook. Then you saw with your own eyes that she is a great cook. Now she comes home for a holidays and she prepares some dishes for you. And you eat that dish. Now you don't have to even open your eyes. With closed eyes, when you put it on your tongue, you taste it for yourself, and that becomes aparoksha. You don't need anybody to tell you about it. Now that becomes your self-knowledge. A much deeper example I'll give you. Let's say you're a class monitor. Now the teacher asks, is X present in the class? What you will do is, you will first see the register. You will see whether that X person has reported to the class or not today. And then you look around and you see that person and you say, yes teacher, so and so person whom you are asking is there present today. Now, if the teacher asks you, the teacher now spells your name and she asks, are you there? Now, do you have to look at the register or look at yourself and then say that I am there? Now understand this example. Let's say now there is current power failure and the class is completely dark. You're not able to see anybody, even yourself. Now if the teacher calls out your name and says, are you there? You will not say, teacher, I don't know, let me check and tell you. And then you take some torchlight and you put on yourself and then say, yes teacher, I am there. Would you say that? No. Without any aid of any senses, you can say without any doubt that I am there. So that is a state which we have to experience within ourselves. And we already do that. But this has to be not with this body, not with this conglomerate as you are by a person. You should be able to experience the Atman over here without the body, mind and senses. Some great revealing facts will come slowly. Don't worry. Now we are going to change the entire circuit which is wrongly inbuilt in us, not in this Janma but from hundreds, thousands, millions of births. That ignorance which has come, now all that will be changed. So this is the pratyaksha, paroksha and aparoksha anubhuti. Okay, that self-experience. Now, there are limitations to understand your own true self. First barrier which comes over there. How am I going to understand? You will say you are there, you told us just now that you will handhold us and get the meditation done, you will give all the necessary knowledge, all that you said just now. But then the scriptures very clearly say, Yato vacho nivartante aprapya manasa saha. This comes in the Taittiriya Upanishad. Now what does this meaning of this Vakya say? From which words return, I'm giving the direct meaning and then I'll explain. From which words return, yato vacho nivartante. Vacha, whatever I spoke, nivartante, it comes back. Aprapya manasa saha, meaning along with the mind. And how? Not having attained anything. You're understanding? Meaning your mind and words, if you see in the right understanding, You don't need your mind and words to understand the self. Just like if somebody asks you, are you there? You don't need anything else. You will immediately say, I am there. This is a deeper way of understanding this. Many a times this is misunderstood, saying, meaning the mind does not understand this, the words also cannot explain this. Fine, but you don't need anything to understand this because you are already that. So this indicates a state of reality or truth which is beyond the reach of ordinary human faculties, which could be like the speech, the mind. But then it again highlights the limitation of language, intellect in capturing this essence of the ultimate reality. So now these Upanishads, they have again and again they emphasize that the ultimate truth, or you call the essence of existence, that is inexplainable and cannot be fully comprehended through your intellect, verbal, or by mind. You understand? Now don't get disheartened by this. Know that it is there right within you and you don't need anything else. So it is also, this verse talks of that profound and mysterious nature of that ultimate reality, which encourages seekers like us to go beyond that intellectual understanding and have that direct experience. Now comes the biggest suspense part. This is one condition we heard, that you mind and words they can't explain. Then it says, Yame Vaishya Vrunute Tasya Yesham Tanum Swam. Yame Vaishya Vrunute Tasya Yesham Tanu Swam. Now what this means is, this is said in the Kathopanishad. It says that he whom the self chooses, meaning that Atman has to choose a person, by him alone it is obtained. Now this is the suspense we need to understand. Anybody who wants to get this, even if he goes there right at the doorstep, but he will not get it. Who can get it? Only the one to whom this self wants to reveal its own form. Understanding? Now we do everything possible to have this realization, but if that self doesn't show up, you cannot get it. So this means what? You need that divine grace. And it cannot be attained by intellectual pursuit or effort. Now I'm giving you the way to get this. It reveals only to those whom it chooses. So this implies an element of divine grace. Ishvara Anugraha Deva Pumsan Advaita Vasana. Ishvara Anugraha. Only to the divine souls who have got the Ishvara Anugraha, they get this knowledge. And then eventually the Atman chooses that soul and it reveals itself. You don't need words, you don't need senses, because it is self-revealing, it reveals itself, and when it reveals itself, you have the first-hand experience. So one, it talks about this divine grace. Second, it talks about the seeker's worthiness, a sadhak's worthiness. And now what is our worthiness? We must strive. We should have that devotion, that discipline, that divinity, purity, and ultimately that realization of the self is a gift which is bestowed from the divine. We can only earn to seek. YARN. We have to show our keenness. I want to seek you. I want to seek you. And at one point, it just reveals. Okay. And then the next one is, you can talk of a mutual selection. So this verse suggests a reciprocal relationship where the aspirant, like we as a sadhak, we must choose to go towards the self, with sincerity and dedication, and in response, what happens is, now which we have been showing, now we are waiting for the response from the other side. So the self chooses to reveal its true nature to the aspirant or the sadhak. Now, what confidence I get over here is, as the Shastras say, a student will not go to a guru. The guru will come in search of a student. Somewhere, at the right time, a call comes to you, or somebody tells you, or you get to know by a message or whatever it is, that so and so thing is there. That is an invitation from the guru. The guru is coming to you. The scriptures are coming to you, which means what? Now the divine is saying, I have selected you, come. And then the fourth stage talks about revelation of the self. So the realization of the self is not a mere intellectual understanding. So far, whatever we are having is an intellectual understanding, but an experiential revelation, which we are now going to that stage. Otherwise, where is this now? Only to show you and give you confidence, I would not have got this method. And you will see for yourself, once you start practicing it, you will see how, you will see a phenomenal change in you. Provided only one thing which is required is, your mind has to be pure. Which we have done enough of mantra jap. So it is obviously pure. And now this Atman has said, be ready, I am going to reveal myself. And that's how we have got this prasad, which we are going to slowly start inculcating and get on over there. So now this experiential revelation, what we are talking, where the true nature of that Atman, it will be directly perceived by we as the seeker. So what we need over here? Surrender and grace. And beyond effort, we should go on yearning for it. And that spiritual preparedness, which we already have. Okay. So now this is one limitations what we understood. First we understood what is the meaning of self-realization, limitation. Now both these limitations what we are talking are in our favor. Where the Lord is now inviting us, come, I am going to reveal myself to you. Now, what will be the outcome of such a revelation? There are several shlokas to talk about this. I'll take one and then we'll talk about this, the revelations in the next session. Atmanam chet vijaniyat ayam asmi iti purushaha kimichan kasya kamaya shariram anusvanjaret. This comes from among all the Upanishads, the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which is the most voluminous and the number one Upanishad they talk about. It says that once a person has truly understood and he realizes his reality and identity as the Atman, they transcend this worldly desires and attachments. Now this enlightened individual or seeker, he recognizes that this body is merely a temporary vessel, and he no longer identifies with its suffering and desires. And now what is the consequence of this? The enlightened person achieves a state of liberation and peace, free from limitations and pains of this bodily existence. Now this is what exactly which one is looking for. He says, Kimichan kasya kamaya shariram anusvanjaret. Why I should be worrying for the cravings of the mind and the body when I am not the mind and the body? Now if there is a dog, now that dog is craving for something. Now will that disturb you? Obviously not. Why? Because you have got no connection with that dog. It is some street dog which is craving for something. Now this sadhak goes to an extent where he has separated himself from this body and mind. And don't be astonished. Now that is what we are going to do. That separation. What is that separation? Anatma and Atma. We are going to rewire, restructure, rebuild our entire understanding in the brain. It's a proper neuro science exercise. All the Anatma we are going to surrender. Ahankara we are going to surrender. What is not required, what is coming in between us and the Atma, that when we remove, then the Atma is ever shining over there. So in this way, now one moves forward on this journey. And now shloka 22 of the 6th chapter, which we will be learning. This is just 2 chapters away. 2021. Okay. Yam labdva chaparam labam manyate nadikam tataha yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Having attained which, one does not consider anything higher to be attained. And what is his state? He is established in such a state where he is not shaken even by the heaviest of sorrows. I fully approve this. By my own personal experience, slowly I have been seeing how the mind is not getting disturbed, whatever be the intensity of a challenge, a sorrow, or something not likable by your mind. If such situation comes, it does not disturb. So in this verse 20, 21 and 22, and then the next two, half a shloka subsequently, this talks of that nirvikalpa samadhi state of the sadhak in this chapter. So now taking this, we take the other two verses, what should be our goal, where we should reach by doing this exercise, and then we'll understand the anatma situation, and then we get, maybe next class, hopefully we'll start our practicals. Okay. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Idam Nam. Yeah, Mrs. Nalini Shah says today's discourse is something which is giving me goosebumps. Yes, what you are saying is absolutely right. Once you start practicing this, I tell you, your experience will be, goosebumps is not the word, because you cannot describe that experience. It will be something ethereal, you can say. Come, let's go to Vishramaha, the divine name. "45th shloka of the Vishnu Sahasranama. ऋतु सुदर्शन काल परमेष्टि परिग्रह उग्रह संवत्सरो दक्षो विश्रामो विश्वदक्षिणः." Dakshah 423. Sorry, Vishramaha. We are today studying 424. Vishramaha, the resting place, the quiet, that state wherein people who suffer in samsara can discover a perfect rest and quietude, is the consciousness supreme, Sri Narayana. See the coincidence, what our goal is. See how so beautifully it has coincided. Vishramaha, Now we all have to be in that state of Vishrama. Where are we now in the world? In these thoughts, in these perceptions, in various objects, in various persons, in various desires. Now coming out of that, Vishramaha, you are resting in a place. So your resting place should not be the world, but should be that consciousness supreme, which is Sriman Narayana. Om Tat Sat. We offer our salutations to Sriman Narayana. Seek his blessings on a very important milestone of our spiritual journey. Shri Krishna Arpanam. Now, let's chant the Dhanvantari mantra 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantare Amrutakalashastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaaya Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrutakalashahastaya Sarvabhaya Vinashaya Sarvaroga Nivaranaya Trailokyapataye Trailokyanidaye Shri Mahavishnu Swarupa Shri Dhanvantari Swarupa Shri 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 Aushadha Chakra Narayanaya Swaha. Now we move on to Aparokshanubhuti. We'll do the Sakshatkara Siddhi Yoga Dhyana, not the Aparoksha today. Okay? Please relax your body. Keep it firm, but yet relaxed. Head, neck and spine in a straight line. Especially relax your forehead and your face. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale and exhale as deep as you can. Now slowly observe your mind. Now observe the thoughts in your mind without being judgmental. Continue your one-pointed awareness on the thoughts without being judgmental. Visualize the number of thoughts slowly coming down, and you're in a state where there are no thoughts. Bring your focus on your breath again. Become aware of yourself. Become aware of where you're seated. Slowly and gently open your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Chinmaya Sadgurave Namaha. Together we offer today's Gita Jnana Yajna at the lotus feet of the Lord. Seek His grace, mercy and benevolence. Naham karta hari karta hari preranaya hari prityartam Shri Krishnarpanamastu idam namama. Yeah. So make up your mind. What is required is your effort. I can fetch water for you, I can put it in your mouth, but eventually you have to just swallow it. So that's the final step. If you want to quench your thirst, you don't have to do anything. Just gulp what I have put in your mouth. That much you have to do. So what has been told to you, hand holding, whatever is taught to you, you have to constantly beat around your mind. And I'll be explaining a lot about the brain, each and every aspect, how it is functioning, and what naturally happens in the brain. So with that scientific knowledge, we will move forward with this divine knowledge and achieve what we want to. Hari Om. Hare Krishna.